21 or 22 that are sending people back to the moon. Like, we are part of that. Just because you're British doesn't mean you don't put money towards it. I'm a mathematician and I specialise in effects untied by the moon. Your science is flawed. Our science is flawed. What do you know about science? You want to talk physics? Do you know anything about thermodynamics? Entropy? Second law of thermodynamics? Gas pressure needing a container? To create gas pressure, you need the walls of a container. Molecules bounce off it to create the pressure. No container. Breaking the container, you loss of gas. So for us to exist next to space, being a vacuum, you would need a physical container. Without a physical being, and no, gravity doesn't do that, because gravity, you cannot create air pressure by pulling on it with a force. That's not how you create pressure. You're going against natural law. So what science are you talking about? Because I'm going for science in general, yours as well.
Damn, girl. Keep going, lady. You got him.
Space isn't a perfect vacuum, but it's a vacuum nonetheless, and our gases should be equalizing. They should be finding their equilibrium. Shouldn't they not? Or are you going against what we observe? And what is, I don't know, a natural law? So what's containing our gas? How do we have gas pressure without a physical container?
Space isn't a perfect vacuum. Did you measure that yourself personally? How do you know that? How do you verify that?
They say it's 10 to the negative torr, I think. But how do we prove that? How do we prove what space even is? Are you doing what I said earlier and just taking someone else's word for it? Or is there something that I can go do to verify what it is? Because all I'm doing is talking about what they're saying, and they say it's 10 to the negative torr or whatever the fuck it is. But that's still not possible. Even though it's not a near-perfect vacuum, it's a vacuum nonetheless. You can create a near-perfect vacuum on Earth. As soon as you break the seal, your gas will find its equilibrium. It will equalize. You will no longer have the vacuum. So our gases should be fucking off out into space.
What about the 50% of globe heads that say that that space is a perfect vacuum?
Oh yeah, that's a lot of them too.
So, and then
this question's right. How do we figure out what it is?
And then you also, so you got the globe earthers that say that you can't see the curvature of the Earth from an airplane or the beach because the Earth is too massive. But then you have the globe earthers that say that you can see the curvature from the beach or climbing a tree or going on an airplane. You see, so how do you rectify those contradictions?
Do you say turnip? First of all, how do you prove what space is? Thinking. No problem, take your time.
Yeah, this is my Discord server.
You fed me with a lot of info. That's what I'm saying. Try questioning things more, because when you start to question it, none of it makes sense. I mean, we can't prove the shape of the Earth. There's no direct measurement we can do. I mean, people usually hit back with Eratosthenes, which can work on a flat surface with a localized sun. Like, there's not a direct measurement that we can do to prove that the Earth is a ball, as existing next to a vacuum breaks the laws of physics. Once you start to question it, it falls apart rapidly. You see why this can't be said over text? Like, this is just something that is too... Do you believe in gravity itself? Gravity is theorized, it's not actually proven. To prove it, you would need to demonstrate it. You'd need to do an experiment following the scientific method, which there isn't. You can't prove that gravity exists. It's just there because it has to be. But gravity cannot contain gas. Can you see it happening? I observe things that are dense go down and buoyant things go up. There's no need for a force to be there. I'm saying that relative density causes things to go down and buoyancy causes things to go up. You're asserting that there's a force. When we don't observe a force, we observe things in a medium where they're denser. So how do you prove that there's a force?
The Force be with you. They're obsessed with the Force.
I love Star Wars. I'm pretty obsessed with the Force too, but not the gravitational force.
I mean, there is probably how many Force users the Star Wars religion? How many people are a part of that religion? Do you think, like realistically? I can go find out in literally 15 seconds, but I'm good at guessing this type of stuff. What did I guess the other day? I guessed how many? What did I guess the other day? It was amazing. I guessed like 130 million number, and I was right by like a couple of 100,000. It was. I tried to figure out what the heck it was, but I just love guessing these types of outlandish numbers that are almost seemingly impossible to guess. But then, yet I'm so close to the actual number, and so here's also the thing. The globe Earth model is admittingly, the heliocentric model is admittingly 96% incomplete. And it's admittingly that. So, because they go, well, yeah, we only know, 4% of actuality, because we can only perceive tiny, infinitesimal, a bit of it. And so, because they call 96% of the universe is dark matter and dark energy, and they don't know what dark matter and dark energy is, but it's all related to space, time, and gravity. so that's the only thing they do know, and so they're just. It
all ties down into gravity, doesn't it?
Exactly.
But without that gravity, the one thing they cannot wait. He says, presuming gravity does exist means the Earth can't be flat. No, that just proves that there's a force, but we're not talking in hypotheticals. Can you prove gravity? Observing something, again, can just be relative density and buoyancy. You need to prove that there's a force pulling something down.
Yeah, they say that it's mass, an object's mass attracted to the center of the Earth's mass, right?
Can you prove that Earth is flat? Did you not hear anything of what I just said? I mean,
yeah,
can you prove it's a ball?
I live in America next to the Great Lakes, which is a very important thing over here. Niagara Falls, hydrodynamic energy, if you've ever heard of it, and Tesla. Well, I mean, the Tesla generator. He was the first one to do that in Niagara Falls. That's in my backyard, buddy. And so I live in a kind of important area, and not only that, I live in New York, and I can see to Canada from 50 miles away, which is physically impossible on a globe, because if it was an actual globe, you'd have to have a curvature equation to the physical object, which matches the mathematical equation, which is supposedly 8 inches per mile squared. If it's not that, tell me what it is. I've been trying to figure it out for a while. The scientists from 100 years ago, they can't seem to figure it out either, girl. I looked, and they say it's 8 inches per mile, not even squared.
8 inches per mile squared? No, not even squared?
No, they say it's 8 inches to the mile. Those are the old scientists from 1940-ish era. They say it's 8 inches to the mile. They don't say squared. They say 8 inches to the mile, and that was in 1941 to be precise. You see, I compare the science of 2020 to the 1800s and the 1600s, and so I do that, but because you don't do it. And so then it gets to a point where I'm questioning you on these things, and also a Scottish lady here who's destroying and dismantling every ideological position you've had your entire life. You see? Now I'm going to let her continue to destroy you.
So, I mean, what we're saying to you is that everything you provide us, I mean, there's no need for us to prove to you that the Earth is flat, because you observe it flat. You observe a horizon that rises to your eye level. You don't feel no motion. You observe things moving in the sky that can be really pretty. But other than that, your observations, your senses tell you that you're on a flat, stationary plane. So the burden of proof is on you to prove to us that you're on anything but a flat, stationary plane.
And I just fucking proved that it's flat, because I can see from New York to Canada over 50 miles, which is physically impossible. The buildings should be lowered below the curvature, but they're all pointing straight up, and they're not tilted. So what does that mean?
How can you trust your senses?
So that's proof, and you just ignore that. I give you my life's experience and life's proof, and also the maximum distance that I've seen and recorded personally is 73 miles. And that was in California to Mexican Island. And that's 73 miles. And here is the long distance. I think this might be the longest distance in long distance photography record in the world, which is 273 miles? What is it nowadays? Because it just keeps getting higher and higher as our technology gets better and better. And you idiots keep ignoring things. Oh, there's my first ad hom. Sorry, my first ad hom. Let me apologize for that and mute myself.
We love a good ad hom. Wait, if I can't trust my eyes telling me that something is being pulled down, how can I... No, you trust your eyes. You're lifting something into a medium where it is relatively denser than the surrounding medium. You take a beach ball and you put it into water. You change its medium. Is it still going to go down? Is gravity going to pull it down in the water? No, because it's in a different medium and it's buoyant now. But you drop a beach ball standing outside, it's going to go down because of the density compared to the medium it's in. There's no force here. It's just mediums and relative density and buoyancy. You don't need a force. You're asserting that there's a mythical force that you cannot prove. And you think that's okay?
Dude, it's so amazing.
I mean, you're currently trusting gravity exists without being able to prove it. You're not even observing it. You're just observing something into a medium where it's relatively denser than the surrounding medium. You're not observing a force. And if you're asserting you are, how do you prove that?
Turning up, are you talking about, you said I respect someone who recognizes a good logical fallacy. Are you talking about myself when I said I'm sorry for ad homing? If not, never mind. And also ignore the chipped guy, you know, because he just joined and he probably is microchipped, literally. So you just have to ignore those types of people's opinions that they have bugs and viruses. They're like, yeah, I love getting chipped, and more chips the better. And yeah, so just ignore those people. Rodman, I'm going to have to upgrade his situation. I'm going to get him to the bronze. But Bambi, could you just continue to destroy...
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. You're doing an amazing job. I'm so happy you're doing this.
So, what I was saying about the medium, you can literally go and demonstrate this yourself by pushing a beach ball underwater. For Christ's sake, if you take an egg and you put it in a cup and you continuously add salt, the egg will float or sink initially, but if you start to change the medium and you start to add salt, the egg will eventually start to float. Not because it's defying gravity, because you're changing the medium. And you can go do that for yourself. So is there anything that I can go do to prove that there's a fucking force? Also, which gravity are we talking about? Newtonian or Einsteinian? Because Einsteinian kind of goes against Newtonians. So we got to understand which one we're going about, and currently you sound as if you're talking about Newtonian.
Now I'm confused, because turning it up and chipped now seem to have switched roles. They're arguing against each other. And I have the one label. I have the one labeled as a Pure Earth NPC, and the other one as a beginner, and now they're switching on each other. Look at them.
Oh no, I see that. Your argument is that you cannot presume anything. How can you presume that your own I didn't... What? Oh my god. Your argument is that you cannot presume anything. How can you presume that your own senses... How can you presume that time passes as you perceive? Bro, are you listening to anything that we're saying? It's better than you trust your own senses than trust something that you cannot prove nor verify. Like, gravity is just something made up that you say to comfort you in the fact that without it, your whole model gets destroyed. Yikes. So how do you prove gravity?
Yikes. You alright, guys? Is your like what she's serving to you is healthy servings of remedies to your mental illness. You're mentally ill. You're mentally diseased. You have a case of 𝘂𝘧𝘪𝘗, and
we were all there. Most of us, anyway. I'm not sure. Your motto, what? Yeah, but without gravity, the whole heliocentric model is just destroyed. Because the ball could not have been created, we cannot stand on the bottom of a ball, we cannot rotate around the sun using its gravitational pull, the moon cannot gravitate and pull the waves and all that crap. Without this gravity, the whole thing falls. And it is the one thing you need, and it is the one thing that you have yet to prove. So why the fuck can't we prove it? Feel free to Google any proofs that they've done. Sometimes it's just best to admit you don't know. Okay, let's presume gravity isn't real. Why am I standing on the floor? What you're thinking about right now is that we're on a flat disk flying through space.
Alright, sorry, go ahead.
Why are you asserting you need something? You're asserting that you need something to stand on the floor because in your model, without that one thing pulling you down, you're going to float off out into space. So stop thinking as a heliocentrist and think that it could be anything but that. Like, you cannot prove the one thing you need. Without gravity, gravity isn't real, so what is making us stand here? Because you've yet to prove gravity. So until you do, it's not real. So what is making us stick to this ball? Because it's not gravity right now, it's not been proven. What's making us stick to the bottom of the ball?
Bambi, you wouldn't believe it, but I've actually broken the Humpty Dumpty egg of the globe earthers when I'm not even kidding, I just simply go, they ask that question, they go, what's holding me down to the earth? Why am I standing on the floor in my room? And I go, I'm not even kidding, I noticed it worked. I go, your fat ass, your weight. And then literally they're like, damn, dude, like, actually makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because it's density. That's what your weight is your density. That determines it. And so it's like, that's an actual physical thing that you can measure. Maybe you should trust that.
But they're not going to do that. You're asserting that there needs to be something pulling you down. There's no need for a force. The whole mediums come into play. Why don't... Well, a woman, particularly, when she goes into a swimming pool, if she drowns, she'll float on her back because of the buoyancy of breasts and the bigger parts of a woman. It's to do with the medium you are in. Why do you tie breeze blocks around someone's feet when you throw them into water if you're trying to kill them? To pull them down, because gravity's not going to do it for you. It's the medium that you're in. You're more buoyant than it, so you need to be drowned. You need to be pulled down. You need to be forced down in the medium.
Yeah, you don't need breast to even realize that. I realized that as a kid when I held my breath, I rise to the surface and float on the surface, and then when I push my breath out of my lungs, I sink to the bottom. That's the buoyancy force. The buoyancy force is measurable. It actually exists. Exactly.
That's the most important part, is it is measurable. Gravity is not. The only reason that you're not floating off is because you're more denser. You're not as buoyant as the medium run about you. We float in water, yes. We don't float in air because we are denser. So let me help you out with your gravity demonstration, how you're going to prove that to us. Here's a picture for you. Let's talk about gravity. This is how we prove it. So what is your naturally observed phenomena for gravity? I assume you're going to say dropping something. Yeah? You know that's not naturally because you have to pick it up and put it into another medium, but I'll give you that. I'll let him stay.
Free lessons. Free lessons.
We're denser than a vacuum. You're saying... What? We're dense... Why don't we fall in a vacuum?
Earth has no birth? That's a cool name.
Are we talking about an exact, complete vacuum? Or are we talking about the vacuum of space? Because the vacuum of space you've yet to prove. And that's the only vacuum. Okay, have you been into a vacuum? Can you show me a video of someone... What did you say? Why don't we fall? Can you show me a video of someone floating in a vacuum? And can you prove that it's the medium of the vacuum and how... what the person's doing?
It's also... Yeah, that is a good point. Have you ever... Yeah, I mean, we know what... They also go... They go, well, what about zero gravity? We can't help the fact that it's called zero gravity when you do the parabolic, the dive in the airplane, which causes a free fall. So when you're in the free fall effect, you're in the zero gravity, they call it, right? Exactly. And so they go, well, it's called zero gravity, so that proves it. No, that's just what it's named, okay? So you have to, like, there's semantic differences. And I'm, by the way, I'm just clarifying what you will probably bring up in the future, just to let you know, because you don't seem to have anything. Like, do you have any proof that you, like, first-hand experiments? Do you know what a first-hand experiment is? Like mine, when I live in Buffalo, New York, and I can see to Canada, 50 miles away, 60 actually, but I just say 50 just to help the globe earthers puny minds out. And because I can see 60 miles away over Lake Erie to Canada, to a different country that supposedly should be below the curvature of my vision, or beyond the perspective of my vision. I shouldn't be able to see that there, but what you're seeing here is a mirage, right?
Yeah, thing is looming upwards. I'm going to have to jump out for about 10-15 minutes, but I will be back.
Alright, cool, thanks.
And hopefully this turned out personal, so I'll be here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, really.
Alright, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, it really was. It was awesome. We'll talk soon.
No problem.
Box ops.
Alright, I'll speak to you later.
Yeah. Box ops. Dude, that was amazing, dude. By the way, I just want to let everyone know I recorded all of that on my P900, and I'm going to be uploading that on my YouTube channel here in about 2 minutes. So I just recorded all of that, which happens about a 20-minute conversation, and I'm going to upload all of that and turn it up. And Rodman here, and who else? Cloudy, Bambi, Box Ops, turn it up, Rodman, I already said. Chipped. Yeah, so you guys are all going to be on camera, and I don't need your consent, because I just took it from you. You see, in a non-rapey way. Oh, that's awesome. And I'm going to upload that onto my Flat Earth Subgenius Society channel. Fess up. I'm going to change my profile name soon. I might even change it back to what it originally was, which is just Flat Earth Subgenius. I added Society just because, I don't know. Fess up. It's FES. But Flat Earth Subgenius, that replaces the Flat Earth Society. Because people in 2015 and even 2014 called me FES. Actually, no, that's not true. Because I created the moniker Flat Earth Subgenius in 2015. Well, it was probably 2014, but then I...
Dude, I had to put a block on my credit card because there was like 2 $600 transactions. I got a text message, and I was like, no. So it blocked my card. So
like right now?
No, earlier. That's why I left earlier, because I had to call the bank.
What the hell, man? Yeah, I mean, that, damn, dude.
It was,
yeah. Did that really happen?
I didn't click on anything. It was my wife who clicked on a link. But
Dear
we
God.
Have a VPN. but I mean, they couldn't do anything because the payment got denied.
I lost my credit card recently, and I recently had to call in and cancel it. And I checked to see if it was used, and no, it wasn't. So I'm thankful for that. I fear the day I lose my credit card, which happened recently. And did you say it was a $600 and $500 purchase?
It was two $600 purchases.
Dear God.
From a website called AllMac something. So they sell like used MacBooks and like, you know, Apple devices. And then luckily I got the fraud alert and I like instantly replied no.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, well, you're obviously going to get refunded for that, so you're all good.
Yeah.
And turn
it just sucks because I got automatic payments for all my stuff, so now I have to redo all my automatic payment.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible, man. I'm sorry. Rodman says, call our utmost powerful leader a cult leader. Hold on. And the reason he's saying that is because Turning It Up says, Flat Earth Subgenius, you give me hella cult leader vibes. I join cults and religions, and then I expose the cult members of and religious practitioners of those cults and religions. Because you do not. Turning It Up. You don't do that. You're not brave enough to do that. You don't have the courage to do that. So I have to do that. I have to join. You said, wait. You said you give me hella cult leader vibes. I'm a member of many different cults and religions at the same time. And I expose those same cults and religions that I'm members of.